Okay, I guess we'll go ahead and get started. Well, hello and welcome to the virtual public meeting for the Slidell 2040 Comprehensive Plan. During this meeting, we are going to provide an overview of the Slidell 2040 Comprehensive Plan, which is actually available on the website at slidell2040.com. And it's also available at various libraries in Slidell and at City Hall. Colin, do you want to go ahead and put that web address in the chat? For your information, this evening from 5:30 to 6:30, there's also going to be an in-person open house style meeting in the City Council chambers. And there's not going to be a presentation at that meeting, but there will be copies of the plan document available, some displays, and the opportunity to ask questions of the project team. Following that meeting, we'll be giving this same presentation to the Planning Commission this evening at 7 o'clock p.m. in the City Council chambers. Some housekeeping items. This meeting is being recorded. We'll take questions in the chat. Just a quick overview. We'll do a few introductions. My name is Ellen Saul. I am the Vice President of Planning for Klein-Peter, and I'm the project manager on the Slidell 2040 Comprehensive Plan. Also present from the project team. If you all want to go ahead and introduce yourselves.
Colin Ash, transportation planner with Burke Klein-Peter.
I am Emily May, transportation planner with Burke Klein-Peter.
And we have Joanna Farley with Oscar Robinson, another member of our project team, is on the Zoom meeting. And Melissa Gilba, the director of planning. I don't know if you want to unmute and say hello.
Hi, everyone. This is Joanna Farley with Oscar Robinson.
Hi, this is Melissa, Slidell Planning Director.
Thank you. So we're just going to run through a quick presentation, then as people join us, we can also answer some questions if there are any. Okay, so first, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what a comprehensive plan is. A comprehensive plan is an official adopted statement by a local government, which sets forth the goals, policies, and guidelines that direct the physical, social, and economic growth of a place. Comprehensive plans are broad in scope, and they cover a wide range of topics. Sometimes they're called elements. Our comprehensive plan that we've put together for Slidell has 8 elements, topics like housing, land use, transportation. We'll get into more detail about those in just a few minutes. Comprehensive plans are usually broad in scope, as I was saying, and they also have a long horizon to implement. So the authority for comprehensive planning in Louisiana is established by the Louisiana Revised Statutes, state law. And that's what we're describing here on this slide. So it's just where that authority comes from. And then secondly, once a comprehensive plan or a master plan is adopted, decision makers should consider that plan before they make additional decisions to ensure that those decisions are consistent with the comprehensive plan. And then this third statement over on the right side is really just about the reason for having a plan. And it's essentially the same legal basis as zoning has in the United States. And it's for promoting the health, safety, and welfare of a community. It's to make sure that the decision-making process is orderly and that it's predictable for property owners and for citizens. So the planning team has been at work over the past year, going through a series of activities to create this comprehensive plan. Throughout the spring, I think I said it's been about a year. So throughout the spring of 2021, We were doing some visioning and public engagement. We'll talk about that in just a sec. Throughout the summer, we were developing our existing conditions analysis and assessing what the needs are. Throughout the fall, we worked on drafting a plan and worked on various revisions to it, working internally with our consulting team, and then going with some of our oversight groups like Team Slidell and the steering committee to work through various drafts to get to the point where we are now, where we have a public draft available, and it's on our website and available in City Hall and at various libraries around town. And we're working towards getting this document finalized and adopted. So now I want to go over some of the techniques that we use to gather input from the public. We created a website. That website's real easy, slidell2040.com. On that website, folks had the opportunity to sign up for a newsletter, make a comment, or contact the planning team. They could find out about in-person events, and probably most importantly, they could participate in a couple of activities. There was a survey that could be taken, as well as an opportunity to mark things on a map. So people had the opportunity to tell us what they like, what needs to change, and ideas that they have. And we got some great feedback on that. Currently, the future land use map is up on that website, and I'll show you that in just a little bit. In addition to the website for getting public input, the planning team also went to various events that were going on in Slidell last April, May, and June. And we spoke to members of the public and got their input, and also told them a little bit about what we were doing. A couple of pictures there. You can see we're at the art market and farmers market and over at Slidell movie nights, just a few of the places we went. This plan has had some oversight from both the technical group that we call Team Slidell, and this group was made up of technical experts, mostly department heads from various city agencies, as well as other agencies that that the city of Slidell works with frequently on issues related to land use and transportation. These are groups like the Regional Planning Commission, St. Tammany Corporation, and other St. Tammany Parish agencies. We also had a steering committee that was appointed by council, and it was, so this is a citizen advisory committee. In addition to the public input that we got, there are other inputs into our planning process. We do our own research. We research demographics and trends. We look at best practices for practitioners like those that are provided by the American Planning Association or the National Association of City Transportation Officials. And we also look at previous plans that have been done by others to make sure we're being consistent with all the work that's been done previously. So the results of our analysis, as well as the public participation process, we found a lot of alignment between the concerns of citizens and the existing conditions. The major areas of interest were in making Slidell more bicycle and pedestrian friendly, stormwater management, we heard over and over again, traffic and safety on the streets was a big concern, economic development, and particularly the reuse of existing buildings was a common theme, and a desire for more park and recreation facilities and opportunities. From our mapping exercise, we got input all over the city, but there were a few clusters. One such cluster was in Old Town. They love Old Town and they want to see it preserved and made even more wonderful. We got feedback on John Slidell Park, and we got a lot of input and ideas for the North Shore Square Mall as well. So now I'm going to tell you a little bit about the structure of the plan. The plan is guided by one vision statement And then, as I alluded to, we have these 8 elements, and each of those elements has a guiding principle. And they're kind of the second tier in this pyramid structure. And they really concisely articulate what the goal is trying to achieve, what the plan is trying to achieve, excuse me. Each of those guiding principles and each of those elements have a series of goals to help achieve them. Strategies and actions are smaller implementation tasks to achieve the overall vision and the principles and goals. So after our pop-up meetings and the survey had been up on the website for a couple of months, we drafted our first vision statement, and that was further refined with input from our steering committee. And here's the vision statement. In 2040, Slidell is a safe community for families of all types that is connected to nature, yet provides a wide variety of shopping experiences and a wide range of services for its citizens. The city's historic core has been preserved and its culture revitalized with a quaint but bustling old town. It is a city reinvesting in itself to create a sustainable and resilient community. And as I mentioned earlier, we've got these 8 plan elements. They're listed here along with their guiding principle. So in the area of land use, the guiding principle is to encourage smart growth, redevelopment, and reuse. The housing element, the guiding principle, is to accommodate residential needs for city's workers and families. The transportation elements, guiding principle, is to improve safety, connectivity, and accessibility. In the area of infrastructure, the guiding principle is to maintain existing facilities and to provide adequate infrastructure to meet Slidell's existing and future needs. The natural environment elements guiding principle is to improve connections to Slidell's natural beauty while managing flood risk through more sustainable infrastructure. In the area of public health, the guiding principle is to ensure that Slidell remains a safe and healthy place for all. In the area of economic development, the guiding principle is to focus on the geographic assets as its primary strengths. In the area of cultural resources, the guiding principle is to preserve Old Town's character and promote it as a cultural city center. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all of the goals on all of the elements, but just explain the relationship between them. So again, within each element, there's a series of goals that supports that guiding principle. And listed here are those 8 land use goals. And then you can see if you actually reference the plan, if you're interested in finding out more about the strategies or the goals in each of these areas, the land use goals are on page 24 of the plan. And you can then reference strategies and actions that go with each of these goals. The future land use map is a very important component of the comprehensive plan, is because it's essentially what the future decisions should be based on for the physical development, future physical development. You'll notice that there are 6 categories of land uses, as noted here, and they're much broader categories than zoning. And I'm going to take y'all to this link here. And you can get here, this is the Slidell 2040. Y'all are seeing my screen, right? Seeing it? Yeah. So from the Slidell 2040 comprehensive plan website, you can click this link, comment on the draft future land use map, and that'll bring you right to here. And this is a really good way to view the land use map if you're interested in checking out your neighborhood or your house. So that is a way to view the future land use map. Okay, so moving right along through the goals, there are 6 housing goals. These are on page 32 of the plan. And most of them surround the need to balance the issue of there being a need for more middle income housing while addressing community concerns for negative impacts that might have been due to scale or maintenance of aging structures. There are also 6 transportation goals. They can be found on page 41 of the plan. And by and large, they support the idea of more transportation options, transportation alternatives, and making sure that the roads are safe. There are 6 economic development goals. Those really focus on Slidell leaning into its location, its history, its relationship to kind of STEM-related industries with its proximity to Stennis. These can be found on page 50 of the plan. In the area of the natural environment, there are 5 goals. They're on page 58 of the plan, and most focus on how to sustainably live with natural hazards and address things such as flooding. The infrastructure and city facilities element has 8 goals, and they tend to focus on making sure there are adequate facilities and enhanced recreational opportunities. They're on page 66 of the plan. 5 public health and safety goals. They really cover a range of issues related to quality of life, health, and safety. Safety was a concern both from a transportation perspective and a personal safety perspective. Although interestingly, we found that property crime and violent crime are both far lower in Slidell than elsewhere in Louisiana and elsewhere in the US. Very, really great numbers on that. These are on page 72 of the plan. And finally, there are 4 cultural resources goals, and they are very much related to the preservation of Old Town. These are on page 81 of the plan. Finally, we should touch on implementation. How will the plan be implemented? So it's a plan, it's a document, but it's a living document. It can and should be updated to reflect things that have been completed or other studies that affect the impact or the course of action. The plan should be referred to when developing budgets or making other decisions. And it, you know, it leads to a series of other actions to occur. One such example is for development regulations to be updated. So who will implement the plan? Well, some tasks, a lead agency is identified, some tasks require coordination. Appointed and elected officials play an important role as well. The plan represents the will of the community, so the decisions going forward should be consistent with the plan in order to achieve that end. This is just an excerpt from the implementation table. So this is just an example of how one might see a detailed list of actions and what goals they relate to and who might lead the charge to that action. Okay, and that's the end of our presentation.